Hello, here is a video for relaxing your pelvic floors. So it's a common thing we learn about is to strengthen our pelvic floors to help us from peeing, but I've actually been learning over the past few years, actually it's often a lot of us that are holding too much tension in our pelvic floors that can cause things like urinary incontinence, chronic pelvic pain and stuff like that. So here's a whole video just for relaxing them. So first thing we're going to do is just sitting down, kneeling or sitting cross-legged, and just do some side bend, side to side. The goal here is to feel the stretch in the side body, side of your ribs. A big thing is if we're holding into tension is we're not tending to breathe correctly. Tend to breathe quite a bit into the upper chest instead of into the ribs and the belly. So this is just to help open up the side of the body to help our ribs expand and contract. And you might even want to hold it and maybe use your fingers just to massage a little bit in between the rib cage. That's one thing I should have said actually. If you have something like a massage ball or a tennis ball and you have that nearby, then make sure you do switch sides if you're on the one. Then have that ready. We're going to potentially use that. You can also use your fingers. We're not massaging the pelvic floors. We're massaging the belly and the ribs. But yeah, you can also use your fingers if you don't have one. If not, have one nearby. So we're just going to start lying on our back. That tends to be the easiest way. And if you lie with your legs bent or straight, whichever is more comfortable, you're just going to bring your hands on your lower rib cage. And as you breathe in, think of pushing your ribs out into your hands, out to the side of the ribs. And breathing out. So breathing in. Excuse me, sorry. Feel your ribs push out and expand into the hands. And then breathing out, let it relax. And do more, another breath like that, breathing in. Attempting to feel, the ribs push out sideways. And breathing out, feeling them contract in. And now just bring one hand onto your belly, one hand onto your chest, and you're going to do the same thing again. But this time you try and make your hand on the chest not move and the hand on the belly push out. Take your time to breathe in. When you breathe in, your belly lifts up and almost think of pushing the belly out into the hand. And then breathe out and the hand falls. And try again like that. Maybe you have one hand across your ribs, one hand on the belly. Trying to make the arm or the ribs move, the belly move. And I'll keep working on that. Just stay here for another minute. I'm just going to try and explain. So you've got your diaphragm. The reason why we're trying to breathe into here to make the ribs and the belly expand, the diaphragm as the muscle is contracting the ribs together or kind of holding the ribs together. And as you breathe in, it contracts and presses down to make space for your lungs to expand. That downward pressure then pushes down on our pelvic floors, which also has a kind of a sling, and that will also then, it should then relax. And then it reverses when we breathe out. So the pelvic floors relax up, the diaphragm relaxes up. But if we tend to breathe just in the chest and not into the belly, the pelvic floors never get the chance to be relaxing down and up. And they're constantly in a more contracted state, which can, as I say, lead to so many various different um, pelvic issues, including as well like pain during sex and stuff like that, and low libido, loads of stuff. So that's what we're just thinking now. And we can either hold here, like I say, if you've got a ball, keep doing that breathing, but maybe use the ball just to rub on the side of your ribs. Or you can even just rub it on the belly. Again, just trying to think about just relaxing the muscles that we need to breathe into. If you'd rather just stay and keep practicing breathing in, thinking of the pelvic floors as you breathe in, almost pushing downwards And then don't even worry about thinking about contracting them on the way up. They should do it naturally. And if your pelvic floors are constantly in a state of tension, they will be doing it naturally. So instead, you're really thinking about breathing in, letting the belly expand, the rib cage expand, but also almost thinking about like blowing with a balloon, blowing your pelvic floors out. The pelvic floor region is between kind of like the front of your sit bone here all the way to the back. So covering the muscles close to where you pee and poop. We're going to keep just working on the pelvis. So here, just working on pelvic tilts. So you're going to tilt and arch the back and then bring the hips towards the ribs. So you're going to arch the back and then tilt and tuck underneath. So sometimes, again, when we're holding a lot of tension across our pelvis, we struggle to actually move it a lot. So it's just trying to get that free movement of the pelvis rather than pelvic floor muscles. And think about breathing in as you tilt away, breathing out as you tilt towards you. You might even want to try just moving the pelvis in any way. Again, just moving in a way that means your pelvic region gets free movement instead of just constantly holding in a static way. Again, back to the belly breathing, but just bring the soles of the feet together and open your knees that wide. We've got 2 minutes here. So choosing where you want to place your hands, maybe hands on the belly, a hand across the ribs. So just using this 2 minutes again, just to focus on as you breathe in, trying to allow your rib cage to expand outwards, your belly to push out, so rib cage expands sideways and your belly pushes upwards, and your pelvic floors are trying to relax. And then when you breathe in, let it fall. Now just trying to really place it's like getting proprioception is when your brain and your muscle part kind of connects and knows what it's doing. It's just trying to get your brain to connect with your pelvic floor region and around your belly and ribs. So at the moment you might find this a big struggle, especially if you've been used to, and if you have got lots of stress or anxiety, you might be used to breathing into the chest, and you might find this really, really hard to do. And that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Just keep trying to do it. It just means you need to do it more. Just keep working towards it. And eventually, once we've got that brain to body connection, it all becomes a lot easier. Yeah, just breathing in, trying to feel the expansion where needed, the ribs, the belly, the pelvic floors, and breathing out. Basically, you're going to be doing various breathing exercises in different poses. Some might work better for you than others. So if this is the first time going through the video, try them all, see what works best for you. If you find one that works for you, maybe try practicing that pose 1 to 2 minutes every day, or once a week, twice a week, whatever is realistic for you. So next we're going to try is happy baby pose. So you're just going to bring the knees together, open the knees then wide, and hold on to your ribs, your thighs. Maybe you want to bring the feet relaxed together like this. Maybe you want to reach forward and hold the feet if you can. We're just doing the same breathing again. Breathing in, almost thinking about your ribs expanding out towards your thighs, the belly expanding upwards, the pelvic floor region relaxing down. And breathing in again. Take your time to breathe in. And take just as long, if not longer, to breathe out. So again, as I say, sometimes it's stress, anxiety, that kind of thing, anger that can cause us to have this shallow breath. So we can use this time as well to help slow the breathing down, make it a full breath. Again, it can help with our, in that time it's the pelvic floor on this one, seriously, our pelvic floors. And I don't necessarily want to turn and face you. Yeah, this is pretty much a great view of where your pelvic floors are, all the way wrapping from the front all the way to the back. Almost picturing like you'd be wearing if you're wearing say a nappy or something that wraps around there. Nice. Now we're going to stretch the bum. Drop your left foot down, cross the right ankle over, relax the knee forwards. Either holding here or reaching forward for the left leg and just gently pulling the leg towards you. We're not massively warm, so it's not a deep stretch, just enough so you feel a bit of a pull coming around. It'll be on the bent leg on the side in here. Again, just doing a mixture of breathing and some stretches about areas that might be holding on to tension. And we're just going to switch the legs out, right foot to the floor, left leg crosses over, open the knee, and maybe reach forward for the right leg. Maybe you just try and relax your head down. And again, you can think of your breathing, especially if you've done this a while, you're breathing throughout the whole thing. Or maybe just keep it for the breathing exercises and keep this just on focusing on the stretch. Signs that you might have overactive pelvic floor muscles if urgency to need to pee a lot, not being able to hold your pee, we say chronic pain. Just going to roll over onto our bellies, onto our front, sorry. Bring the big toes together, open the knees wide, and we're coming to a child's pose. So hips push back and the arms reach forwards. Maybe relax the head down or one ear down. If this is uncomfortable on your knees, just come further forwards. Maybe come up onto pillows. But in this position, you're just aiming again to get that rib cage expanding outwards. The belly dropping down towards the floor as you breathe in. Pelvic floor region relaxing. And then you're just going to show it again if you are looking from the side. Again, as you take your breath in, all the way down here, you breathe in, allow everything to compress downwards. And otherwise your organs in the midsection will be compressed as well. And that's why the muscles of the pelvis, the pelvic floor just relaxes as well, just to help create space. And then again, it contracts and everything contracts back up again. It can only work when we're doing this belly breathing and working as one unit. One goes down, one goes up, and down and up. Got another 40 seconds here. Again, not anything to be worried about if you can't get it yet, just to be aware of. Keeping working on that mind to body connection. And now we're going to line our bellies. And just repeat the same thing here. You might want to have your feet together. You might want to have your feet apart, maybe the toes outwards. Just supporting yourself up on your forearms. And again, you're breathing into the side of the ribs. And this one can be quite a good one for actually thinking about pushing your belly almost out into the floor. And feeling it relax away. Sometimes people might even want to use, if you've got like a Pilates ball, you can use it underneath your belly. Again, just thinking about contracting and pressing into the ball. But yeah, if not, just thinking about pushing your belly downwards into the floor. Try not to tense up through your shoulders. Being mindful again if one pose maybe is working better for you than others. come up into another stretch. Just push yourself up to all fours, coming to a kneeling lunge. Tuck your pelvis under and then just gently press forward. So I'll show you that from the side. Is tucking the pelvis under here to get a little stretch in the hip flexor. You might even want to lean out into the side as well to get the side of the hip, the side of the rib. Again, you can even use your fingers just to massage if there's any tightness. And then just switching the legs over. Tucking underneath. Feel the stretch across the front of the hip flexor. If you add a side stretch, you should feel the front and the side. Keep tucking the pelvis under. The big thing I should say as well, another reason why we tend to often get pelvic pain or tightness, I was saying about how we're wanting to breathe into the belly, let the belly expand. Lots of us are always trying to make our stomachs look slim, right? And so you're tending to suck your belly in, and that's what gives you breathing into your chest. Coming to cow pose, coming to all fours. Cow pose is the one where the belly just drops. It's really going to help us. Maybe even open your knees wide, drop the belly, and again, breathing in, thinking of your belly expanding downwards towards the floor. And lifting it. So keep it holding there, keep it breathing. The same thing, ribs expanding, belly dropping. Hopefully pelvic floor is relaxing with it. But if we're walking around day to day, always trying to suck in our belly, that's going to cause us to breathe shallow into the upper chest. Whereas what we want to be thinking throughout the day is breathing in and letting the belly expand and relaxing. And then just try wear clothes that is a bit more loose fitting around the stomach. Wearing clothes that again we shouldn't have to suck in our bellies all the time. So just let the belly relax, especially if what would you rather have if you're potentially peeing yourself when you sneeze or cough or just have this urgency to go pee, or would you rather but your stomach's in flat, or would you rather dry pants all day, feeling more relaxed in yourself, in everything about it, but maybe your belly's sticking out. It's actually going to be better for your core muscles if you can train everything over time. So it doesn't mean that you're not working your core. If anything, you're working it harder by letting it contract and relax. That's what every time we work a muscle, it needs to contract, but it also needs to relax. It's the two in conjunction that mean we relax. So just another thing while you're working on your cow pose. Just letting the belly drop. And that's a big thing. If you do ever find yourself having an urge to pee, try just puffing out your stomach. See if that makes any difference. Maybe when you're in the comfort of your own home. And go to all fours pelvic tilt. So find a flat back in your mid back, and you're just tucking the pelvis under and untucking. And the goal here is that we're not rounding the entire back, it's just the pelvis, tucking and untucking. And again, like I said earlier about free movement, maybe even try rolling the hips around and trying to keep it to the pelvis rather than the whole back, or just letting it relax and move as freely as possible. I'm not thinking twerking. I don't know how to twerk. Maybe you can twerk and you want to twerk, but just move in the pelvis regions, relax as possible in any directions, tucking, untucking, whichever. Hopefully you feel the pelvic floor relax a little bit. We should put a counter on how many times I said pelvic floor. Now we're going to do a Hindi squat. The final one. So we're going to take the feet out wide and drop the hips down, lift the chest up. Now this might be one of those ones that you're not able to get down to, in which case you might need to lift your heels, maybe even drop books underneath, maybe you're squatting a bit higher. If you do struggle with this, maybe work on it. Maybe even if you've got something like a block or cushions or anything like that, you can actually sit on it behind you to help you hold up. Oh, is that wonky? I'm just holding in this region. This is one of those poses that, I should say as well, make sure you do your diaphragmatic breathing. So breathing in, letting getting everything relaxed, thinking about here in this position of your pelvic floor is literally dropping down towards the floor, and as you breathe in, they all contract up. Don't think about the contractions, all about the relaxation today. What was I going to say? This is the, like, you know, how toilets used to be, squat toilets, and it's designed like a whole, oh my god, what's it called? I've got umbilical cord in my head. That is not the word I'm looking for. Digestive system, intestines, and they're designed when we're in this position, the intestines are straight, it's easier to go toilet. So this is where it's also the best way to potentially, if you were in labour, it could be an easier way to have a baby, because it's the easiest place for your pelvic floor to relax. It doesn't mean you're having a baby right now, it's just working on relaxing your pelvic floors. And if you need to round your back here, you can round your back, heels lifted, but just whatever gives you that feeling of the ribs expanding out, the belly expanding out, the pelvic floor dropping down towards the floor, and then lifting. I might have given information overload, I'm not sure. Do feel free to give me feedback on this. This video isn't necessarily if you've got pelvic health issues, it can help prevent them in older age. I read a stat recently that was 25% of young women have urinary incontinence issues from pelvic floor problems, 50% of middle age, and 75% of elderly women. Not acceptable. Right, we're just going to finish by standing up. And again, it can be that you might want to tuck and untuck your pelvis like this, or just moving your pelvis around in free ways as possible, just moving it around, getting as much freedom and movement as you can. If there's anyone here and you wanted to pause the video at this point, you can. If not, just moving around. Oh yeah, just moving around. Oh yeah, just moving the pelvis around and around. How does it feel? Oh yeah, maybe have some side bends. Oh yeah. Oh dear. Maybe pop on a good song for that one. Yeah, well done. Give me feedback. Let me know how you found it. Let me know. You don't need necessarily, if you find any personal details uncomfortable to talk about, you don't have to. But also, the biggest thing, hearing about that statistic means that there's at least 75% of women that we might not have heard about having these issues, and 25% of younger women. So I think it's going to be better if we talk about this. So feel free to get in touch. Let me know how you found it. Let me know if you counted how many times the pelvic floor. Let me know if you have any questions. But thank you so much. Well done. Hopefully this is helpful.